The moment the girl spoke, the world seemed to tilt on its axis. The millionaire woman had spent years mastering boardrooms, crushing negotiations, and hiding pain behind tailored suits and polished smiles. But one simple sentence from a trembling stranger shattered everything she had built to protect herself. Her knees weakened, her breath caught, and in that crowded public space, surrounded by people who had no idea who she really was or what she had lost, she felt herself breaking apart. This was not a business crisis or a financial loss she could fix with money. This was the past, long buried and bleeding again, standing right in front of her in the form of a child who claimed to know about the one thing she had never stopped searching for. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the idea that even the most broken stories can still find light, please take a moment right now to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, leave a comment and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps stories like this reach hearts that are still hurting. The woman's name was Eleanor Hayes, a self-made millionaire known across the city as an iron-willed business leader who had risen from nothing. Her face appeared on magazine covers, her name attached to charities and hospitals, her life presented as a flawless example of success. But beneath the surface, Eleanor lived with a wound that never healed. 20 years earlier, her 5-year-old son had vanished from a crowded train station during a chaotic afternoon. One moment he had been holding her hand, the next moment he was gone, swallowed by noise, movement, and indifference. Searches lasted for months, then years. Police files grew cold. Hope faded for everyone except Eleanor. She sold her small apartment, poured money into private investigators, followed false leads across states, and lived every day imagining what her child might look like now. When nothing worked, she built walls around her grief and threw herself into work, convincing the world she had moved on while silently reliving that day every night. On this particular afternoon, Eleanor was attending a charity event at a community center she had recently funded. It was meant to be routine, another public appearance to reinforce her image as a generous benefactor. Children ran around the hall, volunteers handed out food, cameras flashed. Eleanor smiled mechanically, shaking hands, nodding at speeches, her mind already planning the next meeting. That was when she noticed the girl standing alone near the doorway. The child was thin, her clothes worn, her eyes unusually serious for someone so young. There was something unsettlingly familiar about the way she observed the room, as if she were searching for something she had lost long ago. The girl did not rush forward or ask for attention. She waited patiently until Eleanor's path naturally crossed hers. When she finally spoke, her voice was soft but steady, and her words struck Eleanor like a physical blow. The girl said she knew about the missing child. In an instant, the noise of the room faded, Eleanor's chest tightened, and for a terrifying moment, she thought she might collapse. Over the years, countless people had approached her with false claims, cruel scams, and empty promises. She had trained herself to shut down emotionally in such moments, to dismiss hope before it could hurt her again. But this felt different. There was no greed in the girl's eyes, no calculation, only certainty and fear, as if she had crossed a line she herself did not fully understand. Eleanor tried to steady herself, reminding her heart of all the times it had been fooled before. She looked around, half expecting cameras or opportunists, but there was nothing staged about this encounter. The girl seemed genuinely frightened, as though speaking up might bring consequences she was not ready to face. Eleanor's carefully constructed composure cracked. She felt tears burning behind her eyes, a weakness she had not allowed herself in public for decades. The idea that this child might hold a fragment of truth was almost unbearable. Hope, once lost, is dangerous when it returns, the girl explained, in broken fragments, that she had grown up moving from place to place, never staying anywhere long. She spoke of an older boy she had known years ago, someone who carried a name he did not believe belonged to him, someone haunted by memories he could not fully grasp. The boy had once mentioned a train station, a woman crying, a hand slipping away. These details, small and seemingly insignificant, aligned too perfectly with Eleanor's nightmare to ignore. Eleanor felt her legs tremble as her mind raced. She had memorized every report, every witness statement from that day. The details the girl shared were not public knowledge. They were pieces only someone close to the truth could know. Still, fear clawed at Eleanor's heart. What if this was another cruel coincidence? What if believing again would destroy what little peace she had managed to build? She had survived by keeping her emotions locked away, by refusing to reopen the door to hope. Now that door stood ajar, and behind it was everything she had lost. Eleanor realized that the greatest challenge was not finding answers, but allowing herself to feel again after years of emotional numbness. Success had protected her from poverty, from vulnerability, but it had not healed her. Eleanor arranged to meet the girl privately, away from the noise and attention. As the girl shared more, Eleanor saw patterns emerging, threads connecting past and present. The boy the girl spoke of had grown up believing he was unwanted, passed between households that never felt like home. He struggled with identity, with anger he could not explain, with a persistent sense of abandonment. Eleanor listened, tears streaming freely now, no longer caring who might see. Every word painted a picture of the life her child might have, lived without her. The guilt was overwhelming. She questioned every decision she had made since that day, every moment she had chosen work over rest, strength over vulnerability. Days turned into weeks as Eleanor quietly reopened the investigation, this time following the girl's lead. Unlike before, she did not throw money blindly at the problem. She moved carefully, deliberately, driven not by desperation but by fragile hope. The girl became a bridge between worlds, guiding Eleanor through memories and locations she herself barely understood. Each step forward was accompanied by fear of disappointment. Eleanor learned to brace herself for setbacks, reminding herself that even if this path led nowhere, it was worth walking for the chance, however small, to know the truth. As the search progressed, Eleanor found herself changing in unexpected ways. She began to soften, to allow others into her guarded life. She spoke openly with her charity staff, connected with families who had experienced similar losses, and discovered that grief shared was lighter than grief carried alone. For the first time in years, she allowed herself to imagine a future not defined solely by success or sorrow, but by connection. The girl, once a stranger, became a symbol of courage. Despite her own unstable life, she had chosen to speak up, to risk rejection for the sake of truth. Eleanor realized that kindness often comes from those who have suffered most. When confirmation finally came, it was quiet and devastatingly beautiful. Records aligned, DNA results confirmed what Eleanor's heart already knew but had been afraid to accept. The boy was alive. He was not the child she remembered, but a grown young man shaped by hardship and resilience. Eleanor wept not only for the years lost, but for the strength it had taken him to survive without her. She understood then that reunion would not erase the past. It would be the beginning of something new, something fragile that would require patience, forgiveness, and time. The first meeting was not dramatic or perfect. It was awkward, heavy with unspoken emotions. Eleanor saw traces of herself in his expressions, in the way he held his shoulders, in his eyes filled with guarded curiosity. There were no instant embraces, no magical healing. Instead, there was honesty. Eleanor acknowledged her failures, her absence, her relentless search. She did not demand love or forgiveness. She simply showed up, fully present, ready to listen. That was enough to begin. As months passed, their relationship grew slowly. Eleanor learned that love could not be bought or rushed. She learned to be patient, to let trust build naturally. The girl who had spoken up became part of their extended story, welcomed into a family she had unknowingly helped reunite. Eleanor ensured she had stability, education, and support, not as charity, but as gratitude. The cycle of loss began to break, replaced by a chain of kindness that extended outward. Just before the ending, please take a moment to comment below and share what this story made you feel. Your words matter, and they help build a community rooted in empathy and hope. Near the end of her journey, Eleanor stood once again in a public space, but this time without the armor she once wore. She spoke not as a millionaire, but as a mother who had lost and found her way back. She shared her story to remind others that no amount of time can erase love, that speaking up can change lives, and that even the smallest voice can bring truth into the light. Her breakdown had not been a moment of weakness, but the beginning of healing. If this story touched your heart, if it made you believe in second chances or reminded you of someone you love, Please like this video, share it with others, and stay connected with the channel. Your engagement helps keep stories of hope alive, reaching those who need them most. In the end, Eleanor understood that success was never about wealth or recognition. It was about having the courage to face pain, to listen when truth whispered through unexpected voices, and to open her heart again after it had been shattered. And somewhere in that crowded world, a girl who chose kindness over silence proved that even the most broken stories can still find their way home.